About 400 California prison inmates are transgender, and unless they've already had sex reassignment surgery, they are housed with prisoners of their birth gender. Here with how the state's new policy will be implemented and its impact is Matt Stevens with Progressive Law Group in San Diego. And Matt, what's it like for transgender inmates in prison right now?
Well, I think it's very uncomfortable because there aren't the services available. They're housed in incorrect position, in the incorrect place, and to the extent that some are housed, they're generally isolated or separated from general population.
To protect themselves?
Correct.
And so are they more likely to be abused or sexually assaulted?
They absolutely are, especially in general population.
Walk us through how this new policy works. Is every transgender prisoner eligible for this surgery?
No, there's not across the board eligibility. So you have to have the pre-existing condition, you have to have predetermination of gender dysphoria, you have to have more than 2 years left on your sentence before you will qualify, and you have to pass review by a particular committee that's being set up to review all the cases.
Now, we understand that this law says that it's based on medical necessity. Do you think that this policy is fair?
Well, I think it's a step in the right direction. So at least now it's being considered. And the medical necessity aspect of it is a pretty narrow legal determination. So if you have a liver illness, for example, it would be cruel and unusual punishment to deny you treatment for your liver ailment. The same is true for gender dysphoria, that whatever the spectrum of care is that you need is being denied just because you're transgender.
And I understand there's at least 7 criteria they have to meet, correct? Can you run us through a few of those?
Well, the key ones are that you've lived as the gender of choice for more than a year, that you've had your medical treatment, your psychological counseling, and again, that your gender is affirmed to be your gender of choice and not your birth gender.
I see. And what's going to happen, do we know, with prisoners who undergo a transgender surgery? Where will they be housed then?
Well, presumably what will happen is they will then be put in the correct population. So if you're male to female transgender and you have your sex alignment surgery, then you will be placed in with females.
Last week, this law took effect immediately. Is there any idea on how long it'll be before a prisoner can actually apply and actually get their first surgery?
Well, it's a long process. So everything will have to run through that committee. Anybody who currently qualifies and has medical testimony that they qualify will be submitted to that committee, and then the committee will go through its review process.
Do transgender, or could a transgender person actually commit a crime because to get into prison to have the surgery? Because this surgery is very expensive.
I think they're far more likely to kill themselves, frankly. And the suicide rates among transgender people are astronomical. So people who are transgender are not committing crimes to obtain the surgery. It can sometimes be a social effect of who and what they're forced to do to survive.
I see. What's the legal basis for this? Because California now the state is being mandated to pay for this. So but the federal government is actually behind as far as ruling what happens with medical necessity in the prison. So
right.
How does that all work out together?
Well, I think we'll start to see some more, California very often is in the lead on these issues. And so I think, the feds will catch up eventually. And again, it goes back to the legal issue of whether it's cruel and unusual punishment to deny the medical treatment that is necessary for that particular individual.
All right. Matt Stevens, thank you very much.
Thank you.